Now, Parliament today had its fair share of power disconnects from the national grid over some 23 million cedis debts owed the power distributor. It comes a day after the Accra Academy also was put in total darkness by the ECG. I've been joined by my colleague Kwekwa Sante, who will be telling us more about that. But first, let's see what really happened in Parliament.
Right Honourable Speaker, the House deserves to be assured that our compatriots will not be disenfranchised in this year's presidential and parliamentary elections. Practical steps ought to be taken by the EC to ensure that all who lost their voter ID cards have their cards replaced. It is not good enough for them to be told by the EC that they can vote without their cards, when we know that they could be subjected to unwarranted challenge and frustration by party agents, while others may not even bother to show up to vote because they do not have their cards. So, Mr. Speaker, after 5 months of spillage recovery efforts, the time has come for the relevant public institutions to carry out a special and comprehensive exercise in all affected constituencies by immediately replacing these important IDs and documents. The institutions of concern are the Health Insurance Authority, the National Identification Authority, the Electoral Commission of Ghana, Birth and Death Registry of Ghana, and the Passport Office. May I also, Right Honourable Speaker, submit that any replacement exercise by these 5 institutions of state should not only be immediate, the intervention must prioritize convenience where officials could be deployed in the affected communities and the displaced camps, and also it is my firm expectation that these replacements must be done free of charge on purely humanitarian grounds. Right Honourable Speaker, I respectfully invite you and this August House to make consequential orders directing these 5 public institutions to take urgent and concrete steps to have all the lost Ghana cards, health insurance cards, voter ID cards, birth certificates, and passports duly replaced for all victims of the VRA spillage from the Akosombo and Dam dams. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, may I remind the Akufo-Addo-Bawumia-led administration to commence work on the resettlement and general compensation of all the victims. It must be a scar on the conscience of national leadership to watch fellow citizens remain in tents and congested classrooms 5 good months after the VRA spillage. Government must be alive to its constitutional obligation.
So that was Okujeto Ablakwa, MP for Norton, leading MPs who are affected by the Akosombo Dam Spillage, who are accusing government and asking for urgent and immediate replacement of all identification documents lost by the victim. Birth certificates, voter ID cards, the Ghana card, and a host of other important documents were lost in the devastating floods last year. And he was delivering a statement on Parliament. He made the point that there could be mass disenfranchisement if voter ID cards, for instance, are not replaced ahead of the 2024 elections. Well, a furious MP for Whole West, Emmanuel Bejura, argued that it appears there's no government in the country, given how abysmal the response to the floods and victims have been.
Government that we all know is working does not need a statement in this House to register people or replace their cards. It's because the government is not working. That is why a member of parliament will call on government to register its own citizens who have lost their cards, national identification card, national health insurance card, voters register card. Why should we be calling on government without digitization? We are talking about rolling out so many tap-to-go cards and so on and so forth. We cannot replace our own cards. It's a shame. Mr. Speaker, I want to call on you, the Right Honourable Speaker, to direct this government to make sure that any citizen that has lost his card through this pillage should go and register them. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The majority side had a response to the MPs affected. Listen to Afenyo-Markin, his deputy majority leader.
They want you to err with all your experience. I will aid you not to err. Mr. Speaker, the Electoral Commission is there. It's an independent constitutional body. No. The call should be made on the Electoral Commission. Mr. Speaker, the Electoral Commission belongs to government. Speak into the mic. Mr. Speaker, the Electoral Commission should receive this call. The National Health Insurance Authority should receive this call. We cannot narrow everything to government. We may not be getting the solution. Mr. Speaker, a week ago, Honorable Ahi recalled the assistance I got when they were in government. We had water crisis in Winneba. I went to Ghana Water Office. I was there. I visited them several times. I went to the Ministry of Works and Housing. Mr. Speaker, I was there personally. I got the necessary support I needed. All I'm saying is that if we make the right call, after all, those who come here, they are our colleagues. There's a limit to the politics. There's a limit to the politics. So let us engage them. Beyond the talk on the floor, let us move from our offices. Let's move from our offices and get there and engage them and look for solutions. If we just talk, we want to achieve the political effect, yes, but the practical effect of the people benefiting would not be gotten. We will not get it. So, Mr. Speaker, our colleagues, Honorable Jifa Gomeshik just showed me a picture of what happened at her place. She and I are finding some minimum solution. But the broader one would have to come from government and the agency responsible. Let us together direct this appropriately and get the solution so that we don't just end it here as a talk show.